high prevalence antigen found in 99% of the population. Since almost everyone has the K antigen, the development of anti-small k is extremely rare, but when present, it is clinically significant, causing severe transfusion reactions and even HDFN. Now, for your KPA, KPB, and KPC antigens, KPB is a high prevalence antigen, while KPA and KPC, they are considered as rare mutations. Now, let us discuss first your KPA, also known as the penny antigen. It is found in 2% of whites but very rare in other populations. It is known to suppress the expression of other KEL antigens, leading to altered antigenic profiles. The anti-KPA is a rare antibody and usually detected during routine antibody screening. Now, for the KPC, it is extremely rare and has little clinical relevance compared to KPA and KPB. For the JSA and JSB antigens, the JSA, also known as Sutter antigen, SUTTER antigen, it is found in 20% of Black individuals but is very rare in whites. Because of its limited distribution, anti-JSA is more commonly seen in Black patients and can cause hemolytic transfusion reactions and even HDFN. For the JSB antigen, it is a high prevalence antigen and present in 99% of the population and even greater than the 99%. Since nearly everyone has the JSB antigen, anti-JSB is rare but clinically significant, and also it is capable of causing delayed hemolytic transfusion reactions and HDFN. Blood transfusion is a challenge since finding JSB negative blood is difficult due to the high prevalence of the JSB positive individuals. Now, the major antibodies and their clinical significance. First is the anti-K or anti-capital K or your anti-KEL. It is the most common and clinically significant among all antibodies under this blood group system. Anti-K is one of the most frequently encountered non-ABO and non-RH as discussed earlier in transfusion medicine. It is commonly found in transfused patients and pregnant women who have been sensitized to the KEL antigen. For the immunogenicity, the KEL antigen is highly immunogenic, and as discussed earlier, it is second only to the D antigen in the RH system. Approximately 10% of K-negative individuals develop a corresponding antibody, which is the anti-K, after transfusion or pregnancy exposure to K-positive RBCs. Now, for the clinical effects, first, hemolytic transfusion reactions. It could cause delayed and extravascular hemolysis. For the mechanism, anti-K-coated RBCs are phagocytosed by macrophages in the spleen and liver, which will now lead to a gradual RBC destruction. Unlike anti-D, which causes rapid intravascular hemolysis, anti-K leads to slower hemolysis, which can delay diagnosis. For the symptoms, it could cause mild to severe anemia. Patients could appear jaundice, increased bilirubin levels, and fatigue and hemoglobinuria in severe cases. And now for HDFN, it is one of the most severe forms of HDFN, second only to anti-D. Unlike erythroid progenitor cells, leading to fetal anemia rather than hemolysis. For the clinical consequences, severe fetal anemia could be observed, and also hydrocephalus if severe fluid accumulation could be seen in the fetus. Also, stillbirths in extreme cases. For the management, routine prenatal antibody screening is crucial for early detection. We could also perform intrauterine transfusion with K-negative donor RBCs if we observe severe fetal anemia. And even low antibody titers can cause severe disease, and treatment for HDFN, it includes intrauterine transfusion with K-negative RBCs and plasma exchange therapy from the mother if antibody levels are high. Now, anti-Celiano, it is a rare but clinically significant antibody. The K antigen or the Celiano is a high prevalence antigen, and it is found in 98% of the population. This makes anti-K extremely rare, as only individuals who are capital K positive and small k negative can produce it. For clinical effects, it could also cause hemolytic transfusion reactions, and it causes severe and potentially fatal transfusion reactions. For the mechanisms, IgG-mediated extravascular hemolysis, where anti-K-coated RBCs are phagocytosed by macrophages in the spleen. And since the K antigen is highly prevalent, finding K-negative donor blood is extremely difficult and often requires extensive donor screening or rare donor registries. Also, the anti-Celiano antibody, it could cause HDFN. Similar to anti-capital K, the anti-small k can cause severe HDFN by targeting fetal RBCs. Fetal risk, it could cause severe anemia, hydrocephalus, and possible stillbirth in extreme cases. Monitoring maternal antibody titers during pregnancy could serve as a management and intrauterine transfusion with small k negative RBCs if fetal anemia is severe. Now, let us discuss the other KEL antibodies. First, the anti-KPA. It is uncommon but clinically significant. The KPA antigen is a low prevalence antigen found in 2% of whites and even rarer in other population. This makes anti-KPA uncommon as few individuals lack the antigen and are exposed to it. The anti-KPA, it could cause HTRs, typically mild to moderate, and it could also cause HDFN, possible but usually mild due to a lower antigen density on fetal RBCs. Now, the anti-KPB, it is rare but more significant than anti-KPA. The KPB antigen is a high prevalence antigen and found in 99% of individuals. This makes anti-KPB rare as only KPB negative individuals can develop it. It could also cause severe transfusion reactions due to difficulty in finding KPB negative donor blood, and it can cause severe hemolysis in HDFN, especially in neonates due to high immunogenicity. Next, the anti-JSA. It is also clinically significant, and it is more common in Black populations. JSA antigen is found in 20% of Black individuals but is very rare in whites. Anti-JSA is more commonly seen in transfused pregnant Black individuals. Also, it could cause HTRs and HDFN. However, the cases would be moderate, and it could also cause severe hemolysis. Now, for the anti-JSB, it is rare but highly significant. The JSB antigen is high frequency. It is found in greater than 99% in all populations. This makes anti-JSB very rare since almost everyone has the JSB antigen. For clinical effects, it can also cause HTRs and HDFN. It causes severe hemolysis due to difficulty in finding compatible JSB negative blood. And for the HDFN, it can cause severe fetal anemia and hydrocephalus similar to anti-capital K. Finding JSB negative donor blood is extremely difficult, often requiring rare donor registries. Last, the anti-KU or anti-KU, it is considered as highly significant and found in KEL-null individuals. The KU antigen or KEL universal antigen is present in all KEL positive RBCs, and only KEL-null or KO individuals who lack all KEL antigens can develop your anti-KU. For clinical effects, it could cause severe and life-threatening hemolytic transfusion reactions, and severe fetal anemia could also be observed in cases of HDFN. It is similar to anti-K mediated HDFN. KO individuals require KO donor blood, which is extremely rare, and KO blood units are usually only found in specialized rare donor registries. Now, for the autoantibodies against KEL antigens, some cases of AIHA involve autoantibodies with KEL specificity, particularly warm autoantibodies which are IgG type in nature that react at body temperature. And under this, extravascular hemolysis via macrophage-mediated RBC destruction could be observed. For the severity, ranges from mild anemia to severe hemolysis requiring transfusion, and it could mimic alloantibodies, making it difficult to determine if a patient has pre-existing KEL alloantibodies. Serological findings of KEL autoantibodies, positive direct antiglobulin test due to IgG coating RBCs. Last time sa laboratory experiment natin, tinanong ko kayo anong positive test natin, supposedly sa DAT and IAT, and sabi nyo dapat may agglutination. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na dapat wala po tayong agglutination since hindi naman po sensitize ang mga RBCs nyo. And sa isang group, merong nagkaroon ng agglutination. Kilala nyo sarili nyo. Now, let's continue under serologic findings. Ulit, sabi ko kanina, it could cause positive direct antiglobulin test due to IgG coating RBCs. Also, pan-reactive or KEL-specific reactivity in antibody screening could be observed, which will now aid the identification. Also, infection-induced KEL antibodies or may molecular mimicry na nangyayari. Some bacterial infections can trigger antibodies that cross-react with KEL antigens. And among all the pathogens out there, we have notable pathogens. First, yung E. coli and si Streptococcus faecium. Bacterial antigens resemble KEL epitopes, stimulating the immune system to produce anti-KEL-like antibodies. And these antibodies may cause hemolysis or interfere with transfusion compatibility testing. For serological complications, false positive KEL antibody screens, making it difficult to distinguish true alloantibodies from transient infection-related antibodies, or also potential for hemolysis in severe cases, though many cases resolve once the infection is treated. For special KEL phenotypes, first yung KO or KEL-null phenotype. Individuals with the KO phenotype completely lack all KEL system antigens due to a homozygous inactivation of the KEL gene. This would now result in RBCs that are KEL antigen negative, making them resistant to KEL-related immune reactions. KO individuals can receive blood from any donor without risk of KEL alloimmunization. However, if exposed to KEL-positive RBCs through transfusion or pregnancy, they can develop anti-KU antibodies which are clinically significant and react with all KEL-positive RBCs. Second, the Macleod phenotype and Macleod syndrome. The Macleod phenotype arises from a mutation in the XK gene located on the X chromosome. This gene encodes the XK protein, which is linked to the KEL glycoproteins on RBC membranes. XK deficiency weakens KEL antigen expression, leading to abnormal RBC morphology and systemic effects. Under the serologic and hematologic characteristics of this phenotype, RBCs in Macleod individuals exhibit weakened or absent KEL antigen expression. Acanthocytosis could also be observed. Diba? Ito yung mga spur cells with irregular projections. And also compensated hemolytic anemia, which can be mild to moderate, and large spleen or splenomegaly could also be observed due to RBC destruction. For systemic manifestations, for the MacLeod syndrome, since the XK protein is also found in muscles and nerve, MacLeod syndrome can cause neuromuscular symptoms in which there is a progressive muscle weakness, poor coordination and reflex abnormalities, late onset movement disorders resembling Huntington's disease. Also, we could observe cardiomyopathy and arrhythmias leading to heart failure in severe cases, neuropsychiatric symptoms including personality changes and cognitive decline. Now, for the changes in KEL antigen expression, first yung autoimmune hemolytic anemia natin or your AIHA. Some AIHA cases show reduced KEL antigen expression due to autoantibody binding, altering antigen detectability. This can complicate blood typing and antibody identification requiring specialized testing. Also, yung bacterial mimicry na diniscuss natin kanina. Certain bacteria such as E. coli and Streptococcus faecium can express proteins resembling KEL antigens. And as a response, the immune system may mistakenly produce antibodies against KEL antigens leading to alloimmunization. And this is an example of molecular mimicry where bacterial antigens resemble host proteins and trigger an unintended immune response. Dithiotritol and AAT are agents that destroy KEL antigens by breaking now the disulfide bonds under this system. In antibody identification panels, if KEL reactivity disappears after treatment, it confirms the presence of KEL system antibodies. Now, for laboratory testing and transfusion considerations, first, yung antibody identification natin, ginagamit natin dito is IAT, and it is used to detect IgG antibodies against KEL antigens. Enzyme treatment, unlike Rh and KID antibodies, enzyme-treated RBC panels do not enhance KEL antibodies. For DTT and AET treatment, it is essential in confirming KEL specificity by eliminating antigen reactivity. Transfusion recommendations, anti-capital K positive patients must receive K negative RBCs to prevent severe hemolysis. And for those patients with rare antibodies such as the anti-small k or the Celiano, anti-KPB and anti-JSB, it may require special donor registries. Autologous blood donation is recommended when possible, and family members can be tested as potential donors. For the laboratory testing and transfusion considerations in the KEL blood group system, proper laboratory identification and transfusion management of KEL antibodies are essential to prevent hemolytic transfusion reactions and hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. The following methods ensure accurate antibody detection and safe transfusion practices. First, yung antibody identification. The primary method for detecting KEL antibodies is the indirect antiglobulin test or your IAT, which identifies antibodies in patient serum by testing against RBCs with known antigens. Now, for the key features of KEL antibody detection, pag nagsasagot kayo later on ng mga case studies natin, tatandaan nyo to. First, under IAT, it detects IgG classes, KEL antibodies, which can cause delayed hemolytic transfusion reactions and HDFN. It is performed using your LISS or low ionic strength saline or yung PEG natin. Anong ulit ibig sabihin ng PEG? Say polyethylene glycol enhancement media. Enzyme treatment of RBC panels, KEL antibodies are not enhanced by proteolytic enzymes like yung fisin and trypsin natin. This distinguishes KEL antibodies from Rh, KID, and Lewis antibodies, which show increased reactivity with enzyme. However, sa dithiotritol treatment natin, yung DT3, it destroys KEL antigens by breaking disulfide bonds in the KEL glycoprotein structure. KEL antibodies will no longer react with DTT-treated RBCs, confirming their specificity. And how do we differentiate KEL antibodies from other antibodies? First, si RH and DAPI antibodies remain reactive after DTT treatment. However, si KEL antibody natin, they disappear after DTT treatment. We could also perform adsorption and elution techniques, and it is useful for patients with multiple antibodies, helping to isolate KEL-specific reactivity. For transfusion recommendations, safe transfusion management is critical for patients with KEL antibodies due to the high immunogenicity of the K antigen and the potential for severe hemolysis. Standard transfusion guidelines, KEL antigen negative blood must be used for patients with anti-capital K. Anti-K or si anti-KEL natin, it is one of the most common and clinically significant KEL antibodies. And even a single mismatch transfusion can lead to a severe hemolytic reaction. KEL negative blood is relatively easy to find as only 9% of the white population carries the K antigens. Patients with rare KEL antibodies like yung anti-Saliano natin or yung anti-small k, anti-KPB, and anti-JSB, these antibodies require specialized donor blood because small k, KPB, and JSB, they are considered as high-frequency antigens, and finding antigen-negative units is challenging. Oftentimes, nagre-require po tayo ng rare donor registries. Sa ibang bansa, may tinatawag po silang American Rare Donor Program, International Blood Group Reference Laboratory, and often needed po ito in cases of finding antigen-negative units po natin. However, sa Philippines, may DOH po naman natin. May DOH naman po tayo and systematized naman po doon. For KEL null patients, they require KO donor blood, and these individuals can develop anti-KU, which reacts with all normal RBCs. Only other KO donors can provide compatible blood. Special considerations for hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. Anti-capital K is one of the most severe causes of HDFN because unlike HDFN, which causes hemolysis, anti-K, on the other hand, suppresses fetal red blood cell production. Ibig sabihin, yung problema nasa bone marrow na po. Now, let's move on to another blood group system, which is the Duffy blood group system, ISBT008. The Duffy blood group system, it was first discovered in 1950 when anti-FYA was identified in a hemophiliac named Mr. Duffy. Since then, it has become an important system in transfusion medicine. The two most clinically significant antigens in this system are FYA and FYB. But what makes Duffy really interesting is that it's not just about blood transfusion. It also plays a role in malaria resistance, the immune system, and even transplantation outcomes. For example, certain people who lack Duffy antigens are naturally resistant to Plasmodium vivax malaria. On the other hand, the Duffy protein also acts as a chemokine receptor, which means it may have implications in inflammation and immune function. Now, let us discuss the Duffy antigens. First, FYA and FYB antigens natin. The Duffy antigens, FYA and FYB, are found not just on red blood cells, but also in several tissues, including the brain, lungs, spleen, thyroid, and kidneys. These antigens are well developed at birth and can be detected on fetal RBCs as early as 6 weeks of gestation. In terms of antigen density, FYA positive, B negative, or FYA negative and B positive cells express about 13,000 to 40,000 antigen sites per RBC. On the other hand, FYA positive, B positive individuals have roughly half that amount of each antigen. For enzyme sensitivity, the Duffy antigens are sensitive to proteolytic enzymes, meaning they are destroyed by treatments with first yung ficin, papain, bromelain, and chymotrypsin natin, yung ZZAP natin, which is a combination of DTT plus ficin or papain. However, they are resistant to DTT alone, which helps differentiate them from other blood group antigens in laboratory testing. For the ethnic distribution, the prevalence of FYA and FYB antigens varies significantly among different populations. For the whites, FYA positive is found in 66% of the white population. On the other hand, 83% naman si FYB positive. For the blacks, 10% FYA positive and 23% FYB positive. For FYA negative and B negative phenotype, it is considered as very common in African populations, and it could be seen around 68 to 100% of the population, which is significantly because it converts resistant to Plasmodium vivax malaria. This distribution is an example of how evolution and disease pressure, specifically malaria, have influenced blood group genetics across populations. Now the FY3 antigen. FY3 is a common precursor antigen for both FYA and FYB antigens. And unlike FYA and FYB, FY3 is resistant to enzyme treatment, meaning it remains intact even after exposure to proteolytic enzymes like cifizin po natin. Also, it is absent in FYA negative and B negative individuals as they lack the entire DAPI glycoprotein on their RBCs. Antibodies against FY3 are rare and usually found in white individuals with the FYA negative, B negative phenotype. Next, si FY5 antigen natin. FY5 is formed through an interaction between the DAPI glycoprotein and the RH complex. It is absent in both FYA and B negative individuals and RH null individuals, indicating that its expression depends on an intact RH complex. Like FY3, FY5 is not destroyed by enzyme treatment. FY6 antigen natin, take note guys, lagyan ng puso, it is a recall po. Since FY6 natin, it is a key receptor for Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium knowlesi, playing a crucial role in malaria infections. Individuals with the FYA negative, B negative phenotype lack FY6, making them naturally resistant to Plasmodium vivax malaria. This explains now why the FYA negative, B negative phenotype is so common in malaria endemic regions, particularly in West Africa. Last, si FYX antigen natin. FYX is a weak variant of FYB found primarily in some white individuals. It doesn't create a distinct antigen, but instead, it leads to reduced FYB expression on RBCs. And because of this weak expression, individuals with FYX also show decreased levels of FY3 and FY5. These lesser-known DAPI antigens highlight the complexity of the system and its significance in transfusion medicine, disease resistance, and immunogenetics. Now, for the DAPI antibodies, first, si anti-FYA and anti-FYB natin. The most commonly encountered antibodies in the DAPI system are anti-FYA and anti-FYB. These are clinically significant IgG antibodies that react at the antiglobulin phase, meaning they require the indirect antiglobulin test for detection. Because they are IgG, they have the potential to cross the placenta, which makes them important in both hemolytic transfusion reactions and even hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. However, while they can cause delayed hemolytic transfusion reactions, they are generally less severe compared to antibodies in the RH or KEL systems. Now, let's talk about the prevalence. Anti-FYA is relatively uncommon, occurring 3 times less frequently than the anti-K antibody. Anti-FYB, FYB, on the other hand, is even rarer, approximately 20 times less common than anti-FYA. This difference in prevalence is partly due to the fact that the FYB antigen is not as immunogenic, meaning it doesn't stimulate the immune system as strongly as FYA. A key characteristic of anti-FYA and anti-FYB is their dosage effect. This means that they react more strongly with homozygous RBCs than with heterozygous RBCs. If you could still remember, may mnemonic po tayo sa mga blood group systems that exhibits dosage effect, and that would be your masarap daw, delicious raw kaya masarap lambingin. To continue, yung dosage effect po nila or dosage characteristics nila, it is crucial when interpreting antibody panel result effect, and that would be your masarap daw, delicious raw kaya masarap lambingin. To continue, yung dosage effect po nila or dosage characteristics nila, it is crucial when interpreting antibody panel results in the blood bank. A weak reaction doesn't necessarily mean an antibody is absent, since it could simply indicate a heterozygous expression of the corresponding antigen. In transfusion settings, if a patient has anti-FYA or anti-FYB, we must ensure that they receive DAPI antigen negative RBCs to prevent hemolysis. Next, the anti-FY3. It is much less commonly discussed, but it is important in certain populations. Anti-FY3 is primarily found in FYA negative, B negative individuals who completely lack the DAPI glycoprotein on their red blood cells. This is common in individuals of African descent, where the FYA negative, B negative phenotype is highly prevalent due to its role in malaria resistance. A unique feature of anti-FY3 is that it is not destroyed by enzyme treatment. This is different from anti-FYA and anti-FYB, which are destroyed by proteolytic enzymes like fisin and papain. This distinction is important when performing antibody identification in blood bank. Also, si anti-FY3 natin, it is rare in African populations because most FYA negative, B negative individuals of African descent do not develop antibodies against the Duffy system. This is likely due to their immune tolerance to the missing antigen. However, it has been reported in some Caucasian and Cree Indian individuals who do not have the same evolutionary history of Duffy antigen loss. In transfusion setting, patients with anti-FY3 require FYA negative, B negative RBCs, which can be difficult to source outside of populations where this phenotype is common. Last, si anti-FYB natin. Like anti-FY3, anti-FYB is found in FYA negative, B negative individuals. However, there is a key difference. First, si anti-FY3 natin, it reacts with all Duffy positive RBCs regardless of RH status. Also, si anti-FY5 natin, it does not react with RH null RBCs. And why does this happen? Take note, si FY5 natin, FY5 is formed through an interaction between the Duffy glycoprotein and the RH complex. This means that if the RH complex is missing, such as in RH null individuals, then si FY5 natin, it is also absent, and anti-FY5 will not react with those cells. For the clinical significance, anti-FY5 is rarely encountered even among multiple transfused patients, including those with sickle cell disease. And when it does appear, it can be clinically significant, meaning it has the potential to cause hemolytic transfusion reactions. Moving on, the Duffy blood group system isn't just important in transfusion medicine since it also plays a major role in infection disease, resistance, and fetal-maternal compatibility. First, let's us break down this into 4 key areas. Una, yung malaria resistance and the FYA negative, B negative phenotype. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Duffy system is its role in malaria resistance. The FYA negative, B negative phenotype is extremely common in West African populations, with frequencies reaching nearly 100% in some regions, which means high prevalent po itong phenotype na to. This isn't by chance, and it's the result of evolutionary selection due to its protective effect against malaria. The parasite Plasmodium vivax as well as Plasmodium knowlesi, they uses the FY6 antigen as a receptor to invade the red blood cells. Since FYA negative, B negative individuals completely lack the Duffy glycoprotein on their RBCs, merozoite invasion is blocked, making them naturally resistant to Plasmodium vivax malaria. This is a classic example of how blood groups antigens can influence disease susceptibility, similar to how sickle cell trait protects against Plasmodium falciparum malaria. However, while FYA negative, B negative individuals are resistant to Plasmodium vivax, they are still susceptible to Plasmodium falciparum, which uses a different mechanism for RBC invasion. Now, for transfusion medicine, when it comes to blood transfusions, the Duffy system is clinically significant because of the anti-FYA and anti-FYB antibodies. Both anti-FYA and anti-FYB are capable of causing hemolytic transfusion reactions, so patients with these antibodies must receive antigen-negative blood to prevent complications. The good news is that finding compatible blood is relatively easy. Si FYA negative blood natin, it is readily available in African and African American donor populations. However, wala sana naman sa Philippines mayroong antibodies against the Duffy system since makakahanap ka lang po sa Africa or African American populations. Next, si FYB negative blood natin, it is common in both white and black populations, making it accessible for transfusion needs. However, challenges can arise when a patient has multiple alloantibodies or requires rare antigen negative units, especially in cases like FYA negative, B negative individuals who develop anti-FY3 or anti-FYB. For hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn, while Duffy antibodies are not as commonly associated with HDFN as Rh or KEL antibodies, they can still cause mild to severe cases. Anti-FYA and anti-FYB are IgG antibodies, meaning they can cross the placenta and target fetal red blood cells. In some cases, anti-FYA has been linked to severe HDFN, leading to fetal anemia and hydrops fetalis. Routine screening for Duffy antibodies in pregnant women is essential, especially for those with a history of transfusion or alloimmunization. Because FYB is not expressed on fetal RBCs, anti-FYB is less commonly associated with severe HDFN, but it can still cause mild to moderate hemolysis in some cases. Beyond its role in transfusion medicine and malaria resistance, the Duffy glycoprotein, also known as DARC or Duffy antigen receptor for chemokines, plays a significant role in the immune system and even in organ transplantation outcomes. First, the Duffy could serve as a chemokine receptor. The Duffy glycoprotein is not just present on red blood cells, but it is also expressed in endothelial cells of the lung, kidney, and spleen. It functions as a chemokine receptor, helping to regulate the migration of neutrophils and inflammatory cells. This means that individuals with the FA, A negative, B negative phenotype who completely lack the dapiglykprotein may have altered immune response. For the FYA negative, B negative, it has been linked to benign ethnic neutropenia. It is common in individuals of African descent. BEN is characterized by low neutrophil counts without an increased risk of infections. This is likely due to the absence of the dark on neutrophils or the DARC on neutrophils, which affects their movement and lifespan. Also, may increased susceptibility to infection. Some studies suggest that the FYA negative B negative phenotype may increase susceptibility to certain bacterial and viral infections due to its role in immune regulation. Also, FYA negative B negative phenotype is associated with reduced renal transplant graft survival. DARC or yung dark natin, it influences immune modulation, and its absence in FYA negative, B negative individuals has been associated with lower survival rates of kidney transplants. This could be due to changes in inflammatory signaling affecting how the immune system responds to a transplanted organ. Next, let us discuss the KID blood group system. The KID blood group system is one of the most notorious blood group systems in immunohematology, not because of how common it is, but because of how unpredictable and elusive its antibodies can be. Why do we care about the KID system? KID antibodies like anti-JKA, anti-JKB, anti-JK3 are clinically significant. They are well known for causing delayed hemolytic transfusion reactions, sometimes days or even weeks after transfusions. They are infamously difficult to detect in routine blood bank testing. Unlike other blood group antibodies that persist in the circulation, KID antibodies tend to fade over time, meaning that a patient may test negative for antibodies before a transfusion, only to develop a severe hemolytic reaction later. So, si KID antibodies natin, mga ghoster po to, nang-ghost po to, tapos sakalang lilitaw ulit kapag okay ka na naman. And because of this, KID antibodies are a common cause of unexpected hemolytic reactions in transfusion medicine. For history and discovery, the KID system was first discovered in 1951 when an antibody called anti-JKA was identified in the serum of a woman who had given birth to a jaundice baby, indicating its role in hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. The JKB antigen was later identified, and together they formed the KID blood group system, or the ISBT009. The system consists of three antigens, which are JKA, JKB, and JK3. JKA negative, B negative individuals, often referred to as KID null, and they lack all three antigens. Now, the KID blood group system consists of two primary antigens, which are JKA and JKB, both of which are expressed on red blood cells and play an important role in transfusion medicine. Unlike some other blood group antigens, KID antigens are functionally significant because they are part of a urea transport protein, which influences RBC volume and regulation. For population distribution, the frequency of these antigens varies across different ethnic groups. Whites, JKA, 77%, JKB, 72%. For the Black populations, individuals who form the anti-JKB, on the other hand, may have difficulty finding